Good afternoon, and welcome to the 8th Annual Veterans Recognition Ceremony. I'm Tom Rich Jr. Today we come together to celebrate the efforts of our campaign, but more importantly, we are here to honor our brave servicemen and women in attendance and around the world. We also come together to thank the supporters of the campaign, including our associates, customers, business partners, vendors, and everyone else who made this day possible. For the past 8 years, ShopRite has been proud to support a number of organizations and continually raise the bar to answer the call of need. Along the way, we have made a number of new friends and allies, and this year's campaign was the strongest to date. The world we live in is drastically different than when the idea of a veterans campaign was born, but there are still thousands and thousands of people who need our support. Over the years, you have become familiar with organizations such as the Tower of Hope, Families of War Vets, the Orange County Food Pantry, Hudson Valley Honor Flight, UMAC, and Tri-County, but we would like you to meet some of the people who have directly benefited through your generosity and kindness. At this time, please join me on a journey which highlights the people of the campaign.
I was first made aware of the organization not long after my husband was killed. He was killed in Iraq June 8th, 2005, and I later came to find out that it was the picture of me and my 4 small boys on the front page of the Times Herald Record that ran the day after my husband was killed that had prompted the founder of this organization to do what he did, to launch this organization to help families like mine.
From the moment Barbara Allen was introduced to the committee, she knew there was something special about them. The group's overwhelming hospitality immediately stood out.
This organization is one of those organizations that is just so genuine and so pure, and I think that's a very important aspect to convey, because there are unfortunately a lot of organizations that can kind of be impersonal and maybe even capitalize on situations, but this organization is full of people who just are very passionate about what they do and very sincere and never make anybody feel as though they don't have a right to reach out for help. They're very supportive, and when somebody is in a crisis situation and it's so difficult for them to ask for help when they're already down, to find an avenue where they can come, where people are just welcoming and supportive, is an immense relief emotionally, and it gives you that boost physically, but additionally they come through for people in tough situations. I'm now in a situation where through my job I get to link people in need, military families in need, with this organization, and for me to be able to place a call or send an email to this committee and say, hey guys, I have a veteran who is in this situation or that situation, it's a crisis, or it's not necessarily a crisis, but it will be if we don't get them some help soon, and to have this organization instantly respond and get back in touch and reach out to that veteran, it's really quite amazing to see.
The lives of thousands of veterans and their families have been impacted through your efforts to date. We must continue to keep this in mind as the need for help grows.
I would say to anybody watching this who is thinking of helping or who has helped in the past, first to the people who have helped, I would just say thank you in any way I can. I am one family that has been directly impacted by this committee, and I can't really begin to describe what it does, that boost you need when you're in these dark hours and you feel like you're alone, and so many people have to go through such terrible times without help, that I had the help from this committee, not just that boost help to get me through a tough time physically, but that emotional support that they offered, and they've never wavered. They've been there by my side ever since. And what you do when you support an organization like this, you help people like me, you help other people like me. I have 4 small children. They were just little tiny boys to raise all by myself. I felt so alone. Suddenly this committee came into my life and I wasn't alone anymore, and I knew I had backup. And it's 11 years later and they are still here. They are still my friends now. I get to call them my friends and my colleagues. So it is the people that helped. I am just one person that you've helped put their life back together, and I give a lot of credit where credit is due, and I can't thank you enough for everything you've done.
The Tower of Hope is a group who is able to provide service dogs to wounded veterans. One of the veterans that has received a dog through the ShopRite Veterans Campaign is Arthur Reiser.
All right, my name is Arthur Reiser. I was deployed, I was a reservist, and I was deployed to Iraq on 2005. I got to country August, actually it was probably like July 2005, and I was a captain. I was on the MIT teams, which my job was to train the Iraqi army in infantry tactics, and I was in Marine battle space, but I was an Army guy. I was injured from an IED on August 22nd, 2005. I got a brain injury from that explosion. A bunch of other dudes were killed, and so I was one of the lucky ones. And when I got back, I started having non-epileptic seizures, which I basically pass out.
Service dogs like Danny are tremendously important to wounded veterans. Not only can they assist with everyday tasks, but they act as protectors in everyday life.
The thing that Danny has done more than anything else is he is a full-blown service dog, but he's, first and foremost really became part of my family. My kids love him, my wife loves him, and he's been just a soothing kind of source and inspiration in a lot of ways. When I feel in the dumps or when I feel getting dragged down that dark hole, he's there. If you're ill or you're sick or you're feeling bad, he will literally come over and hang out with you. He kind of just gets a feeling for people's mood, and that's I think a lot of dogs do that. That's something that probably one of the biggest impacts in my life. What Danny can do is he's a seizure alert dog, so he was trained and taught how to actually sense seizures before they happen, and he can actually smell the chemical reaction in somebody and will warn them, give them early warning, and he'll start to bark. What Danny does for me is if I am going to have a seizure, he'll actually brace me. He'll break my fall if I fall down.
In today's world, there are a number of admirable causes that need support. You can take pride knowing that your dollars in support are helping to save and enhance the lives of our veterans.
I've never been suicidal, but I've had a lot of friends that have been, and their dogs saved their life. When you donate to these organizations, you are saving people's lives, and you're saving people who, quite frankly, are the most deserving. They've given everything for nothing. My quality of life is astronomically better because of this dog, and I would not have this dog if it wasn't for Tower of Hope. And Tower of Hope wouldn't have been able to give me this dog if it wasn't for people that are watching this, listening to this, donating. And I can't thank them enough. And every time I go to one of these events, I spend half my time trying to rebut the thanks that they give me, because that was my job. My job was to go and fight. My job was to serve my country. These people are giving from the goodness of their heart, and I spend half my time thanking them for what they've done for my quality of life and for my family's quality of life.
The Orange County Veterans Food Pantry is housed inside the ShopRite of Montgomery in New York. Christian Farrell is the Director of Veterans Affairs in Orange County. Farrell served his country by enlisting in the Army, and he's a fierce advocate for veterans' causes.
Some of the things that we do in the Veterans Service Agency, probably about 5 different things we do. Again, we advocate for veterans, veterans who have any kind of claim with the VA. We advocate for them and help them to get a positive reward. Another thing we do is we transport veterans from around Orange County to the nearest VA hospital. We also operate the Orange County Veterans Cemetery, which is a very busy cemetery, the busiest in Orange County. We also do something called the Hudson Valley Veterans Task Force. So for veterans in crisis situations, we've gathered a number of people around the table to try to see if we can really respond to their needs. And that leads me to the last thing that we do. Doesn't mean it's the least important, but maybe one of the most important things we do is we operate the Orange County Veterans Food Pantry. So the Orange County Veterans Food Pantry has been in existence since 2009. It started with just six veterans families were fed 7 years ago. But now, fast forward to 2016, and we feed almost 200 veterans and their families by providing one bag of food each week to their doorstep.
One of the miraculous parts of the Food Pantry and Coalition is the success stories that are shared every so often. There are dozens of instances in which people are taking their name off the list.
So the Orange County Veterans Food Pantry, again, we serve about 200 veterans and their families each week. And that ranges from veterans, could be World War II veterans, could be Korean War veterans, could be Vietnam veterans, Gulf War veterans, all the way to Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. Or it could even be veterans who passed away and we still serve the widow of that veteran who is now going through a tough time because the veteran in that household is no longer around. So we serve all sorts of people with the Veterans Food Pantry. Sometimes, we have a veteran who actually is on the Veterans Food Pantry list. We've been providing them food for years. But it's always a nice thing to know when we get a phone call from that veteran who says, listen, things are a lot better. You guys have been helping me out for a long time, but I want that food to go to a veteran who needs it more than I. I am doing a lot better now, and I'm getting myself, I have the money to buy my own food and take my name off the list. And we gladly do so. And we're just happy that we have helped that veteran through their tough times, and there are better days ahead for them.
Your contributions have gone a long way towards feeding hundreds of families, and the members and volunteers of the Coalition are extremely grateful for your generosity.
So I want to thank those who are all involved with the Orange County Veterans Food Pantry. We certainly couldn't do it without you. That goes from ShopRite, of course, it goes to the drivers who deliver the food, goes to the people who help bag the food, there are volunteers, there are all sorts of people that contribute to the success of the Orange County Veterans Food Pantry from top to bottom, but it starts with ShopRite.
Hudson Valley Honor Flight is a tremendous organization that really is special. In order to get a full taste of what the organization does, here is Bill Skinnion.
Hudson Valley Honor Flight is a 501c3 nonprofit organization and a local hub of the National Honor Flight Network. Our mission is to bring veterans from the Hudson Valley on an unforgettable one-day trip to Washington, D.C. to be honored at their memorials. Funds are raised locally at each individual chapter, allowing veterans to go on this unforgettable journey of honor at absolutely no cost to them. 2016 celebrates an historic milestone for our organization. With ShopRite support, we've honored our 1,000th veteran since our inception in 2012. We continue to fly twice a year out of Stewart International Airport and twice out of Westchester Airport. We're able to reach more veterans from the following counties in New York: Orange, Westchester, Rockland, Putnam, Dutchess, Ulster, Sullivan, as well as Pike County, Pennsylvania, Fairfield, Connecticut, and Bergen County, New Jersey. Veterans from other surrounding counties are considered as well. 2016 also emphasized our continuing transition to honoring Korea War veterans. As we spread the word and bring to light these heroes, it is our hope that they will no longer be thought of as having served in the forgotten war. We will continue to give top priority to those veterans of the greatest generation, that of World War II, and diligently work on finding these men and women. The day begins with an amazing 100-vehicle escort to the airport, followed by a send-off ceremony, giving the veterans a small glimpse into the exciting day ahead of them. While in Washington, the group visits the memorials built in their honor at Arlington National Cemetery for the changing of the guard. Our group is hailed with applause and admiration at every stop, giving these heroes the recognition they rightfully deserve. We keep these veterans on their toes, throwing in a few surprises throughout the day. The experience is concluded when the veterans arrive back in New York and are greeted by hundreds of the community members cheering them on. For many, it is the welcome home reception they never received.
The Tri-County Council helps a number of different groups who support veterans. One of these is the Captain John J. McKenna Courtesy Room in Albany International Airport. Here is the story behind the room from John McKenna III.
Back in 2006, on August 16th, my son was lost in Iraq. He was a captain in the Marine Corps. I was looking to do something to mitigate the loss. Somebody came up with the idea that there was a project on the shelf to create a military courtesy medal at the airport. I came down to the airport one day and I noticed that there were troops going back to and from Iraq and Afghanistan that were laying on the floor, resting, waiting for their flights, or waiting for someone to pick them up. This was wrong to have them slipping on the floor. So we started a project that would create a military courtesy room at the airport.
With the help of funding and volunteers, the original courtesy room was built in a matter of days. The original room, however, has since been expanded to accommodate more traveling veterans and their families. The new accommodations include luxurious reclining chairs and a gaming center which can be utilized by the children of traveling veterans.
We would never be able to do what we do if it wasn't for the generosity, volunteers from great organizations like Tri-County, Marine Corps League, the Bluestone Mothers. And they get their support from outside agencies. So, again, we would never, because it does take funding to run the operation. And you can't thank these folks enough because they are part of the team from the Capital Region that really, really, truly shows that they love their troops.
The Unified Military Affairs Council is an organization that provides daily support to veterans in the greater Albany area. For more information on the group, we spoke to UMAC Chairman Ray Gagnon.
UMAC's mission is to highlight the importance of military presence in the Capital Region and Tech Valley. Our number one goal is to ensure the long-term viability and success of the Stratton Air National Guard Base, the Naval Operations Center in Glenville, New York, as well as all the other military installations in the Capital Region, which have a profound economic effect on our local community.
UMAC does a good job taking care of the bases and sites in which our servicemen and women are assigned to in the Capital Region. Through the Veterans Campaign, we have been able to partner up with UMAC in a number of ways. ShopRite has served as a sponsor for a number of Family Day picnics, has provided goods for military family readiness centers, and ShopRite also sponsors a scholarship for those currently serving in the Capital Region. The scholarship is awarded annually to a serviceman or woman that is looking to further their education or career. You have just heard a few of the stories associated with the ShopRite Veterans Campaign. There are dozens of similar stories just like the ones heard today, and you should feel proud for having been a part of this great cause. On behalf of everyone at ShopRite, I'd like to thank you for what you did this year, what you have done in the past, and will continue to do in the future. This campaign is proud to have been able to help fund service dogs, help military families in crisis, provide food to veterans, send our servicemen and women on honor flight, assist family readiness centers, and support traveling vets in Albany. We wouldn't have been able to do any of this without you. And thank you for helping return the favor to our heroes.